So good morning, everyone. I'm Marit. I'm the founder and CEO at Recrur. And I'm really glad to welcoming you at Recrur's first webinar in 2024. So we started with the webinar sessions last year, and we keep going. We continue with the sessions, and through those webinars, seminars, we actually hope to provide you educational and practical tips from the HR field. So, but before we start, I would like to inform you that today's webinar it takes about an hour. We record the webinar. The link will be sent to you your email later, and it will be published also at Recrur's YouTube channel. And all the questions are welcome. So please use the opportunity to ask, and please post the questions to chat, and we will take them from there. So, but now coming to the topic today. In the ideal world, we do not recruit people just for recruiting, just for fun. We would like to see the value and the results that the hired person brings to the company. And therefore, we need to look ahead while we recruit. It means that during the recruitment process, we should already map the future employee skills, expertise, know-how, experiences, so that we actually know how to support this person and her self-development in the company later. And what are actual the skills he or she needs to improve for adding additional value for the company. And even more, this information actually should be communicated inside the HR teams while the employee reaches his/her next stage of the employee cycle. For example, from recruiting to onboarding, or from onboarding to self-development phase, etc. Today's topic is not about recruitment, but it's closely connected to it. It is about training and developing people in the organization, and doing it so that it will also make a difference and improve the results of the company. So I'm really happy to welcome our today's guests, Agu Remmel and Marko Vene. These guys are actually real experts of how to actually make meaningful training plans and sessions that really work and bring the results. So the stage is yours, guys.
Thank you, Marit. So I hope you all see the slide, the first slide, and there is very, very intriguing question. Training fails to improve performance. It's like elephant in the room, what is not addressed. But we are going to address this question today and try to answer the question how to fix it. But first of all, let me introduce ourselves and myself starting. My name is Agu, and I'm founder and CEO of 𝐂𝐸.io. 𝐂𝐸 is LMS provider here in Baltics and Scandinavia. My background is actually, I'm an engineer, so I'm an automotive engineer, but I've never worked as automotive engineer. Instead, I've had many C-level roles in government, in private sector, in startup world, and I've also been management trainer, training major companies, management teams. Lately, Coca-Cola, lately Ministry of Education, and now my main role is as being an entrepreneur and lead the 𝐀𝐠𝐮 company. And I have my very good colleague here, Marko, who will introduce himself now.
Thank you, Agu. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Marko. My professional background is in adult education and further training in systemic training management, as well as outcome-based curriculum design and evaluation. experience in training field covering different roles from training manager to learning and development, department manager, and trainer and visiting lecturer since 2009, so a total of 15 years. And I have seen many problems. Some are tactical, some are strategic.
Okay. Thank you, Marko. Recent study, executive board study showed that 50% of business managers believe that when removing learning and development department, firing people, that won't impact employee performance at all. So this is really concerning view from business managers. And there was another study made when training providers were questions, and it came out that only 20% of corporate training will lead improved performance by the opinion of training providers. So those opinions, those views are very concerning, especially when we know that human capital can make up to 70% of our total business costs. And when we look at the situation where we are the economic situation, the competition situation, the way we compete is actually the human capital, the skills and performance of people. So that's strange. Then people are so important, their skills are so important, but yet we don't see value in training them. So, Marko, a question to you: why do you think every learning professional should think about linking learning to performance today? Why this is important?
I think in difficult times, like now, we can say cut-offs, even worse, layoffs are here, and they are increasing, and it influences each sector: tech space, finance, manufacturing, consumer goods, transportation, and many more. And when companies use the word restructuring, reorganization, reducing resources, what they are really saying it is cut-offs and layoffs are coming, and the first departments that usually get it are training, learning and development, and HR. So from one hand, we can say it is a matter of life and death by understanding and leveraging the power of learning transfer. Learning professionals can not only achieve success in their domain, but also contribute significantly to the company's bottom line, earning trust and recognition from the C-level as a partner. So that is the most important thing in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Right. So, but still, why does learning fail to boost performance? And we've outlined several reasons about that. And first observation would be that it is not only complicated problem; it's complex problem, and there are many reasons for failing. For example, First, we choose university, not business mentality, and I come to describe that later on in more detail. Or we consider that learning is easy, just take courses and you're good to go. Or we don't answer why question, or we don't align with business needs, or most importantly, we miss transfer in the learning process. And in many organizations, roles are unclear or unassigned, or simply we do not measure business results when planning training. So those are the some of the reasons of or most some of the important reasons of failing. But Marko, what is your opinion? Are there anything else you can add to that list? Or?
Yeah, the most important reason is mostly related to objectives we define. So number one mistake I have seen is we define objective like our goal is to increase knowledge. But is this really the case, and how you measure it? Let's take one example to illustrate it. So our sales are down, and we think that the salespeople need to be trained. Okay, we define the learning objective. Our salespeople need to know all about the product they sell. What happens? Product sales falls, and our learner is anything but satisfied, not to mention managers. But what we really want, we don't want knowledge alone, all about the product. We want action, increase product sales. So that's why it's important to define not only learning objectives, but performance objectives. At 𝐴𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐻, we used three-level targeting. In super short term, we took first general objectives or business objectives in enterprise context. Second, based on that, training managers defined performance objectives. And based on that, trainer defined learning objectives. And program design was built based on this.
Okay, right. So let's go on deeper into deeper for those reasons. First, the question about university and corporate learning. What is the difference? We all have gone to schools. Most of us have gone to universities, and we know that when we graduate from university, we learn for getting the diploma. So we need to prove our knowledge in exams, and then we get the diploma, and then it's good and it's done, and can be almost forgotten, and never used. But when we come to business environment, then the knowledge is not enough. It's actually how you get how to use that knowledge and how to use skills, and at the end of the day, how you get your stuff done. So there are more practical needs and more practical skills and things that you do not learn always in universities, but you need to obtain, you need to practice, and you need to apply in your working environment. So corporate sponsored learning definitely needs improved and delivered business performance, business results. And we sometimes think also that learning is easy, but actually the learning to do things new ways is difficult, and that's mostly connected to the way our brain is built up. We have our short-term memory, which processes all new information around us and tries to see patterns, tries to systematize it, and tries to make sense of it. But the problem with our short-term memory is that it's limited size, like computer RAM memory. And then we have a longer-term memory where we part of the brain where we store our habits, routines, and we create those habits and routines by building new neural connections. And this takes time and this takes effort. So, for example, to imagine that if you can remember the first time when you went to driving school, and then you were asked to drive on the public road, and the feelings associated it, and how did you feel that the information and things you had to do, there were so many of things, and you couldn't handle, and that was the situation where you had to process all those informations and do those actions, and you didn't have yet habits. But when time passed and you tried and practiced and made mistakes and learned, then you, end of the day, probably today you can drive a car without thinking, talking on the phone or listening podcast, and it goes automatically. So the thing is that actually learning is supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to take a bit of time. It needs effort. It's like going to gym, but with your brain, and training your brain to understand and new things, to build new neural connections. The other thing what is often missing in training is that we don't answer the why question. So the why the hell do I need to learn this? Why the hell do I need to study this? So this is an important question for every human being when your basic needs are fulfilled. Basic needs, I mean food, shelters, security. You need more than that. Then you need purpose for learning also. And if this why question is not answered, there is no motivation, no commitment for the learning. It's very good for if you have heard 𝐀𝐠𝐮 𝐑𝐞𝐦𝐬𝐲 why, how, what presentation in internet. So that explains it very well. But for this presentation, most importantly, you need to remember that the why is important not only for the learner but also for the business. So for the learner, you need to answer the question, what is in it for me? So what's in it for me? So that is the important question. So, and let's take one example also. Let's say your task is to make obligatory training, safe work practices, and you can do it so that here is a training, you have to go it. It's safe work practices, you must do it, and it's on Thursday morning at 10. Or alternatively, you can define the training so that, hey, we are going to have this wonderful workshop on topic going home to loved ones as healthy and as when you came as healthy as when you came to work, all times and any time. So are you interested to join that training? So those two approaches, for example, show how you can explain the why to your people. Then the other thing is how the learning is built up and learning is understood like in simplistic way. So we need to do some pre-work. We do the instruction, and then we evaluate the learning outcomes. So this is very typical way of carrying out learning programs. So we need sales training. We do the sales training, and we ask after the training how people liked it, how was the food, how was the trainer, and people reply that yes, it was good training, food was good, and trainer made jokes, and it was really good. And that's the mistake we can make, and that's if we make that mistake, then that's the occasion when business manager do not believe in learning development, because it's not enough to just provide a course, then hope that some miracle will happen and we are starting to get better results. So in order to not to make those mistakes, the first thing to do is to change the thinking. First thing is to start the end in the mind. So not to ask what people need to learn, but first to ask what business outcomes are we seeking? If we have answered that question, what business outcomes are we seeking, then the next question is actually not what do people need to learn, but the next question is how we are going to achieve those business outcomes. So is learning the right solution at all? So in many cases, the learning is not the right solution. Maybe you need to provide some new tools, you need to make changes in work processes or remuneration system. But in case the learning is the right solution, then you should go on. For example, there are some examples of our customers, Coop, Selver, Maxima. They are very dedicated in providing training and opportunities to their people, and it shows in their business results. For example, all those 3 companies have been evaluated as the best service level providers in retail. And they go in different ways, in different depths in their training. But for example, Maxima has even video training programs, how to service an Estonian. So it may seem funny, so that you need to learn differences how to service an Estonian, but they think that this is important, and they train their people, and they show up on the list of the best service level providers in retail. So the second thing for getting learning and getting training right is connected to what you measure, because you get what you measure. So when we talked about traditional learning, then traditionally we measure learning outcomes. I even remember I have had one in my career. I had one case when state organization asked for bids for training, and they had very specified evaluation matrix, and in the matrix was even menu for lunch menu was kind of one criteria. So obviously you shouldn't measure quality of lunch menu when you plan your training, but you should measure the achievement you are getting when having this learning experience and when transferring the knowledge to people, and you measure that achievement, not a learning outcome. And what is the most neglected part of learning in a corporate setting is the transfer. So here we described in simplified picture. It's learning is like packing your bags with all the necessary things you could need during your vacation, and then if there is no transfer, there is no travel to the vacation location and the vacation itself, then you are simply not using this learning or those packaged goods, and you don't get the benefits of your holiday. So in corporate world, if you do the training but you miss the transfer, you are terribly wasting people's time and companies' money. And if you end up to doing the same things over and over again and still expecting different results, then this is something that Albert Einstein defined as insanity. So you don't want to be there. So in corporate setting, in corporate sponsored training, so if you do learning only and you miss the transfer of the knowledge and skills to the real work, and then you miss the value, and you're just dealing with, you're producing scrap. Now, the next question, learning, before going on to the next question, maybe I will have question to Marko. Can you point out some good tips or tools for effective learning transfer?
Yeah, maybe you know Katie Moore, the name. Yeah, and she have developed action mapping model. I have also used Robert Brinkerhoff and Stefan Gill's objective mapping tool. I have developed myself training, planning, and evaluation form at 𝐴𝐻𝐻. So contact and write me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to share everything I have. So because it is not enough to learn, you need to apply what you have learned.
Okay, so contact Marko for objective action mapping techniques. Right. So next and very important question is about roles and responsibilities. So who is responsible? So there are actually different parties involved in corporate learning and training. First, of course, there is a learning organization or HR organization. Then there is learner. Then there is manager. So, but who should be responsible? Who should take overall responsibility on getting the learning done and getting the transfer done? So that's a question. And actually, what there was a picture of a boat in the previous slide. So in a way, all those parties are in the same boat, and it doesn't help when one party didn't do their work and the whole boat sinks, and you accuse the other one. There is a role for everyone, but if you talk about who should take the leading role, I think that it's a role of the learning manager and HR to look over the whole process, to coordinate the process with stakeholders, and by whole process I mean in corporate sponsored learning or any organization, even non-profit organization. You have your objectives. You need to get those things done and objectives achieved, and next year to do better than previous year. So you take your current level of performance, and with learning and training, you rise this to a new and higher level of performance. But you have those, let's say, 4 very important steps: preparing, learning, this kind of traditional learning, and then transfer process, learning transfer, and achievements, and that is a process you need to overlook and oversee and make sure it happens. But then there is a learner, and one thing we need to understand about the learner is and learning is that the same old way to do the things same old way is always easier, because then we do like we have always done. We are following our habits, and like you see in the picture, it's like sliding down nicely and safely. Little effort, and everything is like it has always been. But then you learn when you learn new things, it's like stepping up the stairs, and you need to put some efforts. You maybe make some mistakes. Maybe your performance on the first go is not as good as it used to be. But you get to the new level only when you go up those stairs. You have this effort, and you transfer your knowledge to new skills, new behaviors and skills and actions. And regarding learner, there are actually 2 very important questions. First question is, can I? And the second question is, will I? So can I question means that if your life is on stake, can you do it? Can you do it in the new way? If you have the skills and you answer yes, it's good. You have done the initial part of the learning. But then there is another question: will I? So am I motivated to do things differently, and will I do though? I know how to do this, but it's easier to do the old ways. So if only then, and then if the learner answers the question, will I? Yes, then the training is success, and you can expect better results. If the answer is no, then the training is failure, and you shouldn't have been involved with it in the first place. So can I and will I questions are important from the point of view of the learner. And then the topic which what is especially important is the special role of a manager. Although the manager maybe is not coordinating the whole process of learning, but he or she has a very important role to play, especially in starting with preparation. So we talked about business goals, what we need to achieve, and if training is the right method to achieve those business goals. So the manager is to talk to about those business goals to achieve, or maybe there are expected behaviors we want to achieve, or some other business outcomes what we need to achieve. So that's where HR and training managers need to talk to business managers and get them on board. And the second important part of manager roles is the learning transfer. And there are many things the manager can do. First, what is needed is encouragement and support. So employee must feel that the training is needed, and the manager is expecting something out of that training. Then second thing is probably if we talk about what is more neglected way or less used thing is feedback. Feedback is one of the most important part of in the learning transfer process, and that is not only kind of prize or saying you are good, but this is also giving critical feedback and suggestions for improvement. For example, I like this Bill Gates quote that it is good to celebrate success, but it's much more important to learn from mistakes. So the other things, additional things what manager can do is are related to work environment, all rules and processes happening on workplace, and also, of course, rewards and consequences. What happens if employee does something or doesn't do something? So those are all things that can be handled and must be handled by manager in order to guarantee that learning transfer will take place. We have very good examples and many. Okay, Maritala, very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, yes, if I may interrupt, we also have one question that came. So should HR be handling learning management planning for all roles or their expectations?
Well, learning manager, I give my comments, and then Marko has also opportunity to add up onto that. But I think the most important role of learning manager is to handle the whole process, to see that the process is carried through. But the input, for example, what kind of objectives should be achieved through training and learning. Those should come together in collaboration with the managers, because managers see their employees and their daily work. They see where the shortcomings are. They handle the one-on-ones and they handle the performance reviews, and there comes the input. And then if you know what kind of objectives we need to achieve, and if the learning and training is the right answer, then learning manager can take it from there. Or Marko, what is your take on that?
I think that it's important to understand who are the related groups whom the transfer basically is influenced. And then to involve all these groups, we can say interest groups. So and definitely training, learning and development, and HR can't take responsibility from direct manager, for example, because direct manager definitely is responsible of training transfer, but what they can do, they can involve them in before training. I mean, in a planning phase, in mapping the let's say different things that influences learning transfer, and these things can be grouped into 3 categories. So things related to learner, things related to training and or trainer, as well as work environment. So and then it's already a question about how to support learner, how to support how to make training so that that we can take most of this training, and what changes we have to make we have to make in work environment, and that's definitely a question about direct manager.
Sorry, Vlad here. I'm the one who asked the question. I'll just elaborate because one of the topics I had a discussion about was cybersecurity training for employees. So, and when I talk to HR managers, they're adamant that it's something which IT should take care of. They don't want to touch it. So that's what sort of an exception I'm thinking about that. Are there some, or it's still you think it should be within HR managers sort of portfolio?
So as I understand, IT manager at the moment is responsible of the topic. So, and you're asking, is it still responsible of HR, for example? Yes.
Yeah, to facilitate the process.
I think that IT manager don't have understanding how to support, how to understand what are the learning needs, how to support employees learning. So I think that IT manager definitely have to be involved and has an important part to play, but regarding learning and supporting learning transfer, I don't see IT manager as responsible of it.
I would pretty much agree with Marko. Definitely IT manager has some technical skills and can be defined as subject matter expert, but definitely IT manager is not a learning professional, and he or she doesn't know how to build meaningful learning experiences. But maybe one idea that's connected to that and security trainings is what one of our customers was using is and where IT managers can also help was that one of the organization first defined the training need and looked where are the gaps in their security system. And what they did, they together with IT department, they designed kind of fake dangerous emails and then send those out to the organization, and then there immediately was produced a list of people who were affected and who needed actually such kind of training, and then they started to design learning experiences for those people who needed that training. So that is one example how the collaboration can be used. But yeah, I would strongly suggest to involve IT department to help to design well, like subject matter expert, but to design the learning process and experience together with HR and the learning professionals.
Thank you.
Okay. So and that one way how to use technology to involve direct managers is Alexela example. They are using 𝐀𝐠𝐮 task lists to define follow-up activities for direct managers. So first there is a training. Well, maybe it's cybersecurity training, maybe it's something else, and then there are scheduled follow-ups for direct managers, and you record those results in the system. So that's how you can use technology to manage learning transfer and involve and engage direct managers. Then we come to measuring results. It can be bottom line, but not necessarily. For example, this cybersecurity example, we can do pre and after measurements with those scam emails, or like first before the training, and then little times goes by, and then we make another test. And we'll see how many people get caught on the other test after the training, and then we immediately can see that was this training effective or not. So, but yeah, maybe one study here is about Euronics. They needed to increase sales. They did have the sales skills, but what they identified was missing was thorough knowledge about the products and people's what kind of products, what kind of people need. So they did the training, and they measured the result, and they compared different departments, like training hours, training topics, and business results. And although they originally wanted to increase sales, they found out they increased sales and profitability. So both elements or both criteria were achieved. So as said in the beginning, or told in the beginning, that getting learning transfer to business results and achieving better business results, new performance with learning has different obstacles or problems why it's not achieved. It's a complex problem, but to simplify that the process, you need to start from business objectives, prepare the learning experience, to do the training, and then the bigger arrow in this picture is learning transfer. You need to use those different tools to manage learning transfer, and that only then you can achieve the results, and only then you start you measure whether the learning was effective or not. If to add something to that process, something more, then when you have carried through the whole process and measured the results and got the new level performance, one additional thing you can do is to ask question. Okay, this was the process. Those were results. What do we or can we as learning professionals or HR can to make this process even more efficient? So that is one additional tip to that picture. But now, as with every learning, you have a task too. So take a piece of paper or computer and write down one idea. You got one, the best idea you got from this webinar, and especially this idea, what you are planning to implement, what you are going to implement. So let's take 1 minute to write this down, and then in 1 minute, I will ask the most brave ones, couple of people to share their idea. So time started ticking.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 10 seconds more. Yes, and now you can be brave. Who wants to share your idea? Did you, Marit, get something to take away with you?
Yes, of course. So first of the thing that I bring is or that I take away is actually the thing that I need to get more handful with Zoom. This is just a joke, and this is something to practice for the next time. But actually, what was really interesting for me and very useful was that yes, we can organize the trainings and do the training plan, but if we don't continue with the transferring process, then it's actually a failure. So this is maybe something that I definitely take it from here.
Very good, thank you. And who else wants to share his or her idea? I think Maria wants to say something. Maria, good.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I was thinking that I need to review my assumptions. I realized that your underlying assumption is that all training should have a financial somehow payoff. But I'm not sure what are my assumptions, and I need to think a little bit about this. I completely disagree, actually, that every training should show impact on performance immediately. But yeah, I need to think a little bit how I talk about things. These attitudes have a huge impact. Thank you.
Yeah. I would agree that that not every training has to come bring financial outcome. It can be something else. In NGOs can be other objectives, but you need to achieve something with that.
No, it's not about NGOs. I think actually the most important is the habit to learn. And if this is your goal, your target, that you want people to maintain the habit to learn, because you don't know what is exactly necessary today for your business. But tomorrow something might happen. Some crisis may start or whatever. And at that point, if your people have not learned something for quite a long while, they will not learn spontaneously either. So you don't need to show this business revenues immediately. With this example, with this example that you provided about this 𝐿𝐸𝐸, this is quite well, I would dare to say, simple selling skills. Probably there's some kind of a model how to sell. Yes, obviously, you would expect that the sales will increase. But I think more and more trainings are such that we don't know actually exactly what we need to learn. We don't know what are the future competencies. And in this situation, it's important to keep up the habit to learn. And this you cannot relate to revenue immediately.
Yeah, totally agree that you shouldn't expect the immediate kind of revenue increase at all times, but you still, and you need to support people to learn and to be curious and to investigate, and then when time comes, those ideas can be needed. So thank you.
Yes. So, and we also have one more question from listeners. So,
yes.
How do you maintain the habit to learn in company?
Okay, that is a very good question. I think here is the first thing to do is to show an example. As if you are manager on managerial role, you can show example yourself. You learn, you explore new things, you share those ideas, you ask feedback or others comment. What is your take on that idea? Have you looked into this? Or the other way is to make it more organized is to write some important topics and organize some brainstorming, maybe even regularly, to discuss important trends and then discuss what our company, our organization can do to respond those trends. Should we do something? Should we learn something? So to engage people in discussions on important topics and encourage them to learn and to explore on regular basis.
Okay. So, but I also have one more question, additional question. But
yes.
How, I don't know, do you have any tips or tricks to share? So how to involve managers better to this process, so that the HRs shouldn't be alone?
Yes. So the first answer is to engage managers from the start. So and to talk in managers' language. You need to talk in the language the managers understand. And the easiest thing that managers understand is results, objectives, business outcomes. If you are able to talk in this language and you understand this language, you understand what is profit, what is sales, you understand those business terms, then you're able to communicate much better. And once you then talk in the right language, you tie the learning initiatives and training initiatives to those outcomes, to those goals, then it's not difficult at all. Thank
you. So we also have one comment from Reelika. So she also writes that I strongly believe that main responsibility for learning and transfer lies on the individual learner. Manager and HR can only support and not accept main responsibility. So the question for me is how to encourage individuals' personal responsibility.
Oh, that is a very good point. I like that point.
Yes.
And maybe we should have been talking a lot more about learners' responsibility and motivation, because in a way this is crucial. If we don't have learners' engagement, interest, we don't answer the question why he needs to do that, then we miss the whole process. So I think that is a lot to do also for direct managers to have discussions with their employees about their objectives in life and work, and to connect their objectives to the workplace and workplace learning, to their career path. And once you do that, then learners start to see spark in their eyes that, well, actually this is actually benefiting myself. It's in my interest to learn, and I should take time and effort to learn more. So that's how, and there is more role for direct managers than HR, I think. Or Marko, what is your take?
Yeah, there are many things that are worth to point out. So first, question about the degree which people are prepared for learning. So and the question from that, how you prepare your people for learning. So second, related to perception, how they perceive this learning and learning transfer. So again, you can do much before training regarding of this. And the third thing may be related to personal beliefs. So it's not a question about positive or negative impact, definitely. So for person, so it can also be the belief. So I believe that when I implement what I learned, then the positive effects will occur, and I recognize, I understand what are these positive things that happen.
Okay. Right.
Yes. So I think that it's time to wrap up.
Okay. So to wrap up, yeah, _________ purpose is to drive measurable work performance through learning and development, and help to do so with tools we provide. Here are some companies on the slide who are using our service, but total there are more than 50 implementations. Our average customer is 1,000 employees, so medium large companies. And what we talked today was that, yeah, in many cases, organizations fail in connecting learning to performance, but and there are many reasons for that. We need to understand that learning requires effort. We need to answer question why. We need to work on learning transfer with all parties involved, including learner. We need to manage and have the process ownership. We need to understand that the manager has a special role. And in many cases, in organizational settings, organization which have goals, also the learning must have organizational goals. But that was about today's webinar. Feel free to connect with us in LinkedIn, me and Marko. Feel free to ask a copy of slides. Feel free to arrange meeting with us for demo or further consultation. So yeah, we are very happy to have you all here listening to us, and hope to meet you someday in the near future.
So thank you, Agu and Marko. It was really interesting webinar, and I really hope that our listeners also receive new ideas and already see you in our next webinar all. So thank you for joining.